Hello and welcome back to a set of tutorial videos. This is video number 3 for Meyer Sound's MAPP 3D, assignment number 3. This is for students in the Speaker Systems Design and Optimization course at Husson University in Bangor, Maine. And my name is Eric, and I'm your teacher, or the teacher for the course. And moving on here on video number 3, we're doing the important stuff, what this assignment is all about, and that is the angling of the arrays. We've already created in the previous video, we've used this Gracie Theater drawing, and we've inserted a Meyer melody line array. Sorry about that. I wanted to look at side view here. And we're all ready to go with this. And you can see that all the boxes are pointing straight ahead. And I've got center lines on so you could really see where they're pointing. And we're going to start angling in a moment, but an important conversation is about trim height and where is the top box pointed. Usually, it's customary to have at least one or two of the top boxes kind of overshooting the farthest part of the audience. This makes sure that the highest seats in the venue kind of get equal level as the rest of the seats in the venue, so you don't point the farthest box at the highest box at the farthest point. You kind of shoot over it. This is called overshoot, and Meyer calls it aiming factor. And so in this particular drawing, we've got, in this particular venue, the trim height that I picked for the melodies, you've got one box kind of firing over, and the second box is really only pointing at the few highest seats up here. There's only a few seats here. So if you kind of look around, if you look carefully, we basically have an aiming factor of 2 here. There basically are 2 boxes covering the highest seats. The bulk of the audience is being shot over. So it's important to get that kind of set up before you start angling. And then the next step is angling. And I really think it's very important that you, as a student here, experiment with it. Don't just copy what I'm doing. It's visceral. It's really important to kind of understand how line arrays function, and angling and manually angling is important. So select the array, either clicking on it, or if you're in inventory, grab the left banes, go over to Express Settings, and you have an angling window over here in Express Settings that you can start tweezing with. Alternatively, you could go into Object Settings and angle here with under the Splay column, but you can't see it in action. So you really want to be on this left view and start messing with it. The top number actually angles the top box, which we don't want to do. I want to leave that top box pointing straight so we get that aiming factor. So you want to leave the top box 1 at 0. You also have the option of angling the bumper bar itself. You could do that up here under rotation around reference, but I find it useful to leave the bumper bar flat. At Husson, we have a laser on the bumper bar, and it kind of points straight ahead, and we can kind of position the array's height using the laser. So leave that straight. Start with box 2 and start angling. And usually what you have to do, the kind of goal here is to start with small angles at the top of the array and progressively move to larger angles and the lower boxes. And this spreads the landing points of the center lines evenly across the venue. It'll end up having more boxes closer at the top and less boxes down here, larger angles at the bottom. And this, assuming, because usually the lower boxes are closer to the arrays, this sort of distributes energy more evenly across the venue. So you're really trying to evenly distribute the lines. Let me show you how to do this. I'm just going to pick some lower numbers, and you should pick your own numbers, but I'm putting in a bunch of 3s here, and now I'm going to transition to, some 4s. And you can try whatever numbers you want. Well, first time I did this, I tried 1s and 2s, but eventually I'm just doing my best here. And I do have a preferred way. I have experimented with this a bunch now. I have a preferred, but I'm just kind of randomly assigning them here. And then kind of look at it And do they look evenly distributed? And right now it looks like they're a little tightly packed here. I might want larger angles there, maybe slightly smaller angles there. Where should the bottom box be firing? Some people would fire the bottom box at the bottom of the orchestra seating. In the Gracie, though, I don't want to do that. I actually want the bottom box to fire at the third row. And this is so we don't spill too much high-frequency information on the apron of the stage. If we angle this bottom box to fire at the first row, it will be very bright and loud on the stage, and we'll have more feedback. We do a lot of TV on that stage, and we use a lot of lav microphones, and it's just not going to be good. So I want to fire at the third row, which I've kind of done here in my quick angling. It kind of looks distributed, so maybe I want to futz with this just a little bit, and this is a key step for you, like play with your angles and try to evenly distribute them as much as possible. So before I angle it and change that section, I'm going to look at it too. Something that makes this easier to view is to turn off the through settings so you don't see all these lines shooting through the seating planes. To do that, you need to unlock the balcony and orchestra seating plane layers, and then go to inventory, and up here, turn off through on all your prediction planes. So orchestra, balcony, all this. And the yellow lines will stop firing through the seating planes, and it just kind of cleans it up a little bit. It's easier to look at now. So now you can see that for the most part, you're seeing less lines shooting through, which I find pretty useful. I just messed up my left view there, so I'm going to reset that. So I do definitely recommend you do that. And when you're done with that, lock your seating planes, your prediction planes. The program goes faster when you lock the prediction planes, which is odd, but true. And then, of course, I'm moving through this. We've kind of roughly angled it. Now gets to the interesting part, start predicting. And I would really aim at the high frequencies, kind of the voice frequencies, 2K, 4K, 8K, and see what they look like. So we'll go to isometric view, and I need to zoom out here, so I'm Command Y. And I'm going to rotate here. I'm using the space bar and rotating a little bit. And let's do a prediction here at 8K and see what it looks like with my super fast. And so it looks like it's louder and brighter down front and a little bit quieter up there. So maybe I want to do some tweezing. Maybe I want to put more boxes pointing up here and less down here. That's an option. What does 4K look like? 4K is kind of the center of voice intelligibility, and it's okay. It's actually relatively, it's a little hot right there and pretty good up there. So you want to, with this data in mind, maybe I would, and I recommend you go through this process, start tweezing your angles a little bit. And this is a good idea also to go to express settings with the array selected, maybe turn on the section plane too, which puts the section plane through the center of the array. You really can kind of see how energy, this is 4K is distributed. And you can see, yeah, I've got a little bit more 4K energy down low, and I'd like a little more on top. So I'm going to clear that section plane here. And let's angle the array a little bit more. I'm zooming in. I want it a little bit more up here. So tweeze it a little bit. How am I going to do that? I don't know. Maybe I will take the top box and change it to an angle of 2. So now there's a little more tightly packed up here. So that would just be, and then now, having done that, maybe I would make the bottom box now expand out by 1. So it's now at 10. And then continue to predict at 4 and 8K and see if I've improved coverage at all. So these are the steps you have to go through. These are the steps that every system engineer goes through whenever they insert a line array. They draw the venue and they start doing some manual angling, and they kind of soften up the hard spots, the loud spots, try to push some energy into the quiet spots. So definitely you want to do that in this assignment. This is the key. This is the meat in the sandwich of this assignment. So do some tweezing, okay? I'll catch you in a moment on the next video where we'll do some more stuff. All right? Bye-bye.